I remember we were in the States together and we went to like dinner or something, and everyone else was like complaining about how expensive the food was, and we were like, come to Geneva.
Wow.
Come to Geneva. Like, you guys don't know how good you have it.
I'm telling you.
Hi guys, I'm Nana. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a very special guest, one of my best friends, Valentina.
How y'all doing?
Anyway, so today we just wanted to come together and talk about what it was like growing up black in Europe, right? Mm-hmm. You know, everybody talks about the Black American experience, and even if you do talk about like black experience in Europe, you typically talk about like the UK experience. And so we just wanted to come and share our perspectives and our thoughts. So yes, welcome Tina!
Thank you.
So how did we meet?
Well, I moved to Geneva, Switzerland when I was 9 years old, and Nana's mom and my dad worked at UNHCR.
Yeah.
So they introduced us because we lived in the same neighborhood.
In the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
So then we used to play in the park together, and it's like we've known each other over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's been a very, very long and wonderful
from the
friendship.
bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah. And it was funny because like we went our separate ways, right? But somehow we ended up at the same university.
Yeah. And even through those years, we still stayed in touch.
Contact. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. So it was meant to be.
Yes.
God just put us.
So Geneva, Switzerland, not Sweden.
Yes. Not Switzerland. Do you speak Swedish? No, B.
So school, I went to an international school.
I also went to international
We went to rival international schools.
CD hell, go to hell.
La Chatte. If you want to know what La Chatte really means, Google it.
It's a great school, okay?
And from there, I think in our international schools, it was a mix of different cultures.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
But I would say one huge thing was, even though you knew people who were from different places, you never had to introduce yourself like, hi, I'm Valentina and I'm from Tanzania.
Yeah.
It was never part of the conversation to say where you're from.
Really, I agree, because like everybody was from somewhere different. It was special, and it kind of felt like, so even like the race thing wasn't really such a big factor. You were just Nana, you were just Valentina, you know what I mean? Like you were just yourself.
Yeah.
And so like there was just such a diverse mix of cultures in school.
The only day you pointed out where you're from was International Day.
Yeah.
That was the only day where everyone really dressed up, because at our international schools you didn't have to wear a uniform.
Yeah.
So International Day was the day, was like, wait, it was like a reminder to other people, right, you're from there.
Yeah.
But it was never a start of a conversation or a way for someone to kind of get a sense of who you are based on only where you were from.
Yeah.
And I think also that comes down to Geneva, where it's really a melting pot of cultures it is.
Definitely.
Maybe in another European country would have been a different thing, but for there, no.
But for us it was pretty like, I don't know, standard, I guess. I think the only times that I felt that I was kind of different was, say, if like I brought some, I don't know, jollof rice to lunch. You know what I mean?
Rice too.
You know what I'm saying? You don't do it.
I ate in the cafeteria hot lunch.
Oh. I mean, no, I tried in the beginning. I brought my own lunch and then I wised up. I started eating lunch in the cafeteria. Yeah.
Also, I don't know how many, when we're talking about like black, the equivalent of black and white.
Yeah.
In my school, in my graduating class, we graduated like 200.
Yeah.
And it was 4 black people.
Oh yeah, it was kind of similar for me. I know in my grade there was maybe like 4 black people, 5 black people.
And then that 3 were boys. 2 were boys?
Oh, you had 3 boys?
Yeah.
We had like 1. The rest of us were girls, you know?
Actually 2 boys. No, 2 boys.
I think we had a boy in the French section, so maybe 2 boys.
Yeah. So, we were just the sprinkles in the sea of everything. But
in the sea of vanilla. Dating, how was your experience there? Because for me, dating in Switzerland was like non-existent, honestly. Like, anyway, sob story. Growing up, none of the boys liked me. I was just there, like, and also I don't know if
look at Hannah.
They still don't like me.
She's a liar.
But so I think dating for me was like kind of non-existent. I don't know if I was like down with the swirl. No, okay, no, I did. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I did have crushes on white guys.
Because it's mostly swirls
Yeah.
around. It was mostly
Like-
swirls, like 99.9%.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think like I did have a crush on a white guy, but he was just not interested. And I was like, oh, okay, alright, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Going back, it's been a little bit better. And I know definitely if you're interested in interracial dating, Switzerland is like the place to be. The Swiss love chocolate.
Exactly, exactly. On my side, hashtag parents, I'm sorry, but it was one of those things you kept it on the low. Everyone was your friend, your friend, your friend. I was down for the Hispanics and stuff, so that was my flavor.
Ay, papi.
That was my flavor growing up. It was one of those things. I think my focus was just food, clubs, and then friends.
Yeah.
I feel like I started kind of dating when it was like 11th grade, 12th grade, you know?
12th grade.
But middle school and stuff, that was not
really.
my flow. That was not my jam like that. You dated here and there, but it was nothing serious, so I wouldn't even classify those, oh, I'm going to cinema, oh, come with me situations as a date. No, unless you say the word date, it's not a date.
Then it's not a date.
Exactly. So yeah, kind of dry, very dry younger, but I also think we were just in a different headspace as well.
Honestly, yeah. I don't think we were like really ready.
I would say from looking around and from my siblings and stuff and my sisters and cousins, Geneva, when you're older, I think it's a great spot to date. It's just like anywhere else where it's kind of like, where do I find them? Where do I see them? But when you start getting a flow and things like that, it picks up. So I think when you're older, it's a perfect place to find someone because everyone is kind of in like similar stage of their life.
Yeah.
If you're in the international relations, poli-sci world, accounting, it's a perfect hub for you.
Okay.
Because the people are under
I get it. So it's probably like young professionals,
exactly,
getting their lives together.
Yeah. And you meet through a friend of a friend. Since Geneva is really small, so you probably know somebody who knows someone easily, and that pairing usually happens organically and stuff. So. When we were younger, it was you either met at friend's house. House parties was not really a concept other than like when we got into 11th, 12th grade. Because in Geneva, the drinking age is 16.
Yeah.
So when you go out to the bars and the clubs. Getting VIP tables, it was like the thing. And so I also think that's why even like now that we're 24, so I can say 24 and 24. Yeah. Our culture is not to as much go out and get tables anymore because we did that when we were way younger. It's more like after work, go for after work drinks, have an apéro or like appetizer somewhere, dinner and stuff, and chill. Yeah. Going out to the club is not really
a move in
the move anymore like that. You do it more when you travel outside in clubs. Everything is overpriced. Like the basic drink will cost you
like a ridiculous amount.
Like an 18 and 19. And that's like not in a big glass. And VIP tables, they start at like a good 500 for like a bottle and some drinks and stuff. It can get really expensive. So there, honestly, it's all about, if you go get a VIP table, it's all about you showing that you got a VIP table.
Yeah, I think it's just
what you get from it.
It's not worth the money.
It's not worth the VIP lifestyle. You might as well just save that money and go spend it.
I feel like when you travel outside, you appreciate the DJs more, I guess. Yeah, like, so I think that's a problem about like living in Europe outside of London. They just play crap music.
I love my EDM and techno.
Sometimes for me, I do like EDM, I do like house, but sometimes I'm like, it's been 4 hours.
Yeah,
my head, I'm tired, you know.
After going to school in America, yes, I like my ratchet music. Yes, that's a category.
Yeah.
Trap music.
Yep.
You know. Okay.
Hip hop.
Like R&B from like this year.
From this year. We don't want Usher. We don't want Usher year 2000s.
Like Beyonce, Crazy Love.
Single
How many
ladies.
albums has she done since
Come on now. Move up. You have to upgrade.
That's one thing. Like the rest of Europe, but you know, to each their own. Like London town, Paris, whatever. But I also think their DJs are great like that in the clubs because there's more black people.
Yeah. Generally, like if you had to rate Geneva's nightlife out of 10, where would you say? What number would you say?
When I was younger, it was a 10 over 10 in my eyes.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it was a 10 over 10. Now, honestly, Geneva, I would give it like a 6 because there's so many missing blanks that I feel like they're not hitting. Where would you give Geneva from your experience from when you were younger?
You know what? You know what's sad about me in Geneva when I was younger? I didn't really go out that much. My mom was so strict, so I left in ninth grade.
In ninth grade, so that's 13. 14,
15-ish.
Yeah.
So I left in ninth grade, and so I missed all the like cool clubbing,
the good vibes of it all.
Only when I used to come back and visit, then I would still like be able to. You know, one of the first times I went out was with you.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was kind of.
That was like what?
It might have been vintage as well. I'm telling you. I mean, like I'd never really been clubbing in Geneva before. I think like for me, the social life tended to be like parties thrown on by family friends. You know, you know what I'm saying.
But those were always a good time.
Those were a really good time.
That's the thing.
Yeah, like so there's there's like a Ghanaian community in Switzerland, and there's this one family that always throws like crazy parties, and they're always so much fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's how like I would like
those were see. That probably adds to the 6 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, for nightlife is part of it.
Yeah,
because there's also the Tanzania Association, so they threw really good parties to the ambassadors and things like that, and you get to meet like the younger crowd and people and all that stuff. So that was always a good time. Cookouts, barbecues are a big thing.
Yes, barbecues, and the weather is beautiful.
Yeah. So. For sure, those were a big part of growing up, and it's still a thing now as well.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about work, right? And I know a lot of people are really interested in what it is like to work in Geneva. Geneva seems like heaven because they pay you well, it's an international community. So I just wanted to ask, like, how has it been working there? First, just explain a little bit what you do, and how hard or easy it was getting a job, that kind of thing.
Well, I know for me, like when it came, if I push it back to uni, I knew I didn't want to go to uni in Geneva just because I wanted to study journalism and communications, and I just felt like the US is where it's at, you know? I was like, I want to be the future Oprah, you know, follow where Oprah is.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know the US is where I want to be, especially if I went to get internship experiences, things like that. That's where I should go. So, and I'm glad I did that. However, when it came end of sophomore year, personally for me, I felt like if I'd stayed in the US, it's one thing to start at the bottom and make your way up in the chain or whatever with your career, but I felt like the US was overly saturated with people who study communications and journalism.
Definitely.
So even if you know what you do and you know your craft, you wouldn't get to practice it that often, or you would have to do something else just to make up for the moment to reach that point.
And even with that, because we were international students, companies were likely to take, you know, Americans before they took us, you know, and so like it was even more of an uphill battle if you wanted to stay there and work.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I'm going to go back, but I honestly was scared because when I went to the US, communications was not a thing in Geneva. It was either you would go into banking, was your number one, or poli-sci international relations, so you end up in an international organization, because those were the biggest markets that you knew there will always be jobs available.
There's always someone hiring.
It was one of those things where I was like, I'm not really sure how I'll do it, but I was like, I just know the US is not for me on this one. So before I graduated, I applied to a couple positions back home. However, it came down to networking at the end of the day.
As it does.
You know, your mom putting in a word with her friends and family and things like that. Like, I didn't feel like I struggled finding a job being in Geneva.
Okay. That's good.
Within communications compared to some of my friends who studied business, econ, and things like that, where it was like there were always jobs, but now communications is picking up in Geneva. So they're looking for people and young people at that as well. So
that's encouraging to hear, especially if you're in the communications field. And I think another perk probably of living in Geneva is also the pay.
Yes.
Because listen, when you look at some of these jobs in London, when I was, some of the pay that they were offering, I was like, what?
How am I supposed to survive?
What is this? Like, anyway, yeah, so I think Geneva is very good in terms of paying you.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed about Switzerland, I was like, girl, you might want to keep working here, is when I went for that job, they were like, oh, you're kind of young. And at that point, I just finished my undergrad 6 months before.
Yeah.
So they were like, you do know that if you had your master's, we'd have paid you more.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, so for every degree, kind of for every language, you'll be compensated for that because you're adding an added value to the company they wouldn't have found anywhere else.
Okay. Well, I think there's other benefits in terms of like leisure time. So like, you know,
vacation days. The work-life balance.
Yeah.
I remember in my private company job, my pay got ducked because I didn't take all my lunchtime. Like, I got in trouble for taking 45 minutes to solve an hour.
That's mad.
Like, bruh, like who does that?
Who does that?
I loved growing up in Geneva. I wouldn't change it.
Same.
And I think my parents, I may not thank them every day, but you know, shout out to your parents.
Yes.
It was a great place growing up, and I think I enjoyed being in the US, but I was always like happy to come home because Christmas and summer was one of those things, and the only way you would like that is if you liked where you lived before. And so I know it would be like the best thing ever if my kids, I can give this similar experience plus more to my children. So I'm kind of trying to, Mister, you know, you trying to persuade him to consider that in the future and move over to this side.
I'm with her.
Exactly. So no, we shall see, but I love working here. For right now in my younger years, it's the best place. I think I'm building my career, and I'm building it faster than I would have anywhere else. And saving at that as well. So
definitely
wouldn't change it. So I'm happy.
Wonderful.
What about you?
For me, I definitely love Geneva. It's really like anytime I go home, it kind of feels a little bit like home. It's like where I grew up. It's where I had my childhood. Some of my closest friends, Geneva, clearly. You know what I mean? So definitely, I also agree with you in terms of like it would be lovely to give that to my children and have them have that same experience. And then also, the one thing I so appreciate about Geneva is just how beautiful it is. Like, you go out, there's trees around you, the mountains, our beautiful lake. It's just,
If you're about that life.
I'm so about it, you know. So like it's lovely. I really like. It's such a beautiful place, and I understand why like so many people want to go and live there. It's beautiful and calm. But
so definitely come and visit.
Yes.
You know, if you know us, holla. We'll show you around. If you don't know us, holla, and then we'll see.
Of course. But yeah. Anyway, I have to say a huge thank you to Tina for being on today's video.
Anytime.
She's honestly like one person that like I can look at and I'm like, she's on her stuff. She's always clear. She's always focused. You know, and she's hilarious. So
This one, she understands my humor.
Thank you so much for watching the video.
Ciao.
Bye.